Previously on the Frontier Farmer. So I am going to look to introduce TMR, Total Mixed Ration, today, but first of all, our soybeans are ready to harvest. I'm going to get this all harvested. Harvest complete. This harvest has done a good job, but I think we're going to have to give it some tender loving care over winter. 4,609 litres. Let's get these stashed in the silo. Get all these stalks mulched. Get drilling. Grass is going in, so we can get the manure spread on this quite nicely. So let's swap the bucket, and we'll also pick up our feed mixer or mixing wagon that's going to make our TMR. There we go. They've taken a portion, and the cows, now they've got some TMR, they're going to be producing milk at 100% productivity, which is going to help feed us. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. We're now in November, so we are approaching the end of autumn and winter is upon us. And good news, our animal farm is doing really well, and the cows have probably gone up to 100% productivity. We can check in on them. Indeed they have. They've gone up to 100% productivity, and that's because we gave them some total mixed ration from our new mixing wagon. But yeah, unfortunately we filled up the cow pen quite a lot, so we need to wait for the hay to be sort of eaten into, and then we can replace it with TMR as we go. And here is our new mixing wagon, which did a grand job last time. But one thing that is apparent on the animal farm is that we desperately need hay. The hay is consumed by the horses, it's consumed by the cows in TMR, and it's also consumed by our sheep. Although the sheep can take grass, but it seems sensible that we just make one thing, either grass or hay, and as they can take both, probably easier for us just to make hay. So, luckily, field number 3 is ready to mow. We did inspect it last month, and it was ready to harvest, but it wasn't at the full height. But now I'm pleased to say that it is much taller and is at the full height, and we can get 100% yield out of this, which is fantastic. So we're going to mow this, and then I think we're going to switch it up and change the order of play. We are going to be getting a device that I've seen at the distribution centre, which allows us to ted after it's been windrowed. So yeah, we'll be mixing up the order today. We'll be mowing, then windrowing, and then getting our new fancy tedder. Then we can come along and bale it. And we are going to have to get a bale shed of sorts, so we can stash this hay over winter, so it's not going to get rained on and degrade. Right, we want the mowers first of all, the one with the front and back, so that's why we're in the International. I'm hoping for the other jobs we should be able to get the farm all out and give it a good run around before winter is upon us. There we go, that's both front and back mower. So we can head on over to the field and commence mowing. Now, of course, we're in autumn, nearly winter now, so the light is getting a little bit tricky. We have to start a bit later and finish a bit earlier. But that's not going to hinder us too much. I think we'll get the rear unfolded. And then we should be able to switch both of them on. And then lower them front and then back. Fantastic. Now we're into the field and we can get on with mowing at a reasonable pace, to be honest. That is good. And I'm going to try and collect what I can from the edges beyond the field just to give us a nice good stock of grass. We want to make sure that we can get as much hay as possible to last us as long as possible. And I'm going to get busy with this, and I'll see you when we're all finished. There we go, nice and quick job, and I managed to finish by creating a nice little eyelet in the middle because of my not very straight lines, but that's not too big of an issue because it can be corrected as we come past later on. And we have got a couple of little segments here where I've done some turns which have been left. Now, one thing about this mower is if you are turning whilst mowing, you can end up creating a bit of a gap where the mowers don't quite catch all of it around the angle of the turn, and that's just because of the type of mower. They are older and not as advanced as some of the modern mowers, so that is why. But we can shut them off and get them folded up, and that is quite a good quantity of grass, which I'm pretty pleased with. So we're going to come and windrow it. But one thing I remembered is, of course, we harvested our soybeans from field number 4 and got that flipped and drilled with grass. Now, that's not going to be ready to mow this year, but it is going to mean that early next year we should hopefully have a nice new field to mow, and quite possibly field number 3 might be ready to mow again with it. We will wait and see. And yeah, now it's the turn of windrowing. So we'll go drop the mowers off, get the farmel, get the windrower, and come along and make some nice neat rows, hopefully. Mower dropped off, and we'll just shove it in a bit so it stays under cover. Right, we can park up the International now and jump in the farmel. Drop it back where we found it because we will need to top up the cows with TMR later on. Close the gates as I go, keep the animals nice and secure. Let's hop in the farmel. And yeah, we can run the windrower quite comfortably from this, which is nice. And I do always want to make sure I keep using both tractors. Just because we've got a new tractor doesn't mean we should use it all the time. I should say newer tractor because it is still quite old, but nonetheless it's more horsepower, the International. So it allows us to run the bigger equipment. But yeah, we want to still use the farmel where we can. Right, the tedder is in the way, so I'll move that first and then grab the windrower. Now we've fetched the windrower, so let's head over and we'll follow the same path that we mowed and get this all nicely swathed up. So let's unfold, and this is a nice self-running windrower which just operates off being lowered to the ground and turning itself. Superb. Alright, there we go, we're making some grass swath. And the idea is we'll come along with a new device, a new tedder, that is just going to ted up the swath and then relay it in a nice swath for us. But we'll get to see that after we've gone and purchased it. So you know the drill. I'll whiz round here and see you when we're all swathed up. And that's job done. Despite a little bit of middleness being messy again, we have been able to make some nice neat swaths. Seems to be the centre of the field ends up being a little bit messy because it's not a nice square field. It's very rustic and not a nice easy shape to deal with, but nonetheless we managed to get the job done. Now we can drop the windrower off and head over to the distribution centre to get the new tedder that is going to nicely ted up the swath for us. Now of course we do already have a tedder which is to be used before windrowing, but to mix the job up, make it a little bit different, it's nice to get a different piece of equipment, but also it's probably quite nice to have a tedder that can ted the swath rather than just the loose and spread grass, because if we ever get a mower that manages to mow and swath the grass at the same time, then that will save us a little bit of a job with the windrowing. But yet we haven't found one yet that can do the task. I don't even know if that sort of mower is capable in this day and age. But yeah, we'll drop the tedder back off, head over and get a brand new tedder. Quite lucky really to get a nice November that's dry. It's given us a good opportunity to get this grass mowed and give our animals some hay stocks. So this is the tedder, the Kuhn Hay Bob 300. And as you can see, it's got the tedder wheels that don't spread too wide. And then at the back, it has the rake arms, which are going to keep the swath nice and neat. So we're going to buy that for $6,625. Here it is. We can get it on the 3-point linkage. Fantastic. Right, let's head back to the homestead and we can get tedding. Seems to suit the farm all quite nicely. So, same direction yet again. I imagine we probably need to unfold this. Oh yeah, there we go. The rake has moved out a bit, and the second one. Fantastic. So I'm hoping that's going to keep the swath tight. It has moved the rake a little bit. I can see the tongs moving out individually. There we go. So hopefully that is all good. And we can switch on. There we go. Lower away. And this should, yep, there we go, turn our lovely grass swath into a hay swath. So it's a bit of magic really. But yep, it's doing the same job as the tedder. Turning it all over to dry. But the only difference is it's putting it back into a nice neat swath, which is fantastic. So yeah, if we ever got a mower which could mow and lay it all nicely into a swath for us, we don't really have a need for windrowing, and we could just come along and windrow it, hedgerow it, as you might call it. Super. So let's whiz around here yet again, get all of our grass nicely tedded, and then we can get to baling. See you when we're done. Last row complete, and we can get this folded up now, and fair to say it's done an absolutely fantastic job, nice and speedy. So yeah, if we could eliminate the windrowing by having a more advanced mower in the future, that would benefit the homestead, but I'm not sure if there's anything that's going to be suitable as of yet. We'll have to wait and see. But we can drop the new hay bob tedder off and grab the baler and get this all nicely baled into our conventional bales. And then for stacking, we've got the trailer over there which has got some of our root crops and produce from the open garden in there, which are ingredients for our pig food. So we'll have to clear that off. Or alternatively, I have a different idea which I will probably decide upon when I'm doing the baling. We shall see. Right, I've run out of shed space there, so I'm probably going to have to drop this hay bob off somewhere where we're not going to get in the way of anything. I'm thinking probably in front of the animal trailer, because we don't really use that too often. Well, we're not going to be using it too often. And then, yeah, I think we're going to be needing to put some more sheds in, probably over by where the sort of wood facility is, our sawmill and so forth. That field number 2 is going to be turned into a bit of a production and shed space. Because, yeah, we need more sheds. Right, let us go and grab the baler. We can get started with that. Go. I think there's already some hay in there, 83%, so that's going to be alright. Let's get this unfolded. Now I have stopped utilising the attachment which allows us to pull the dolly trailer alongside with the baler, because it just ends up too messy. It doesn't stack, and I know there is potentially a device, a contraption that will stack it automatically for us, but yeah, trying to go for a realism in this one, so we'll just come along and stack it manually ourselves. Shouldn't hopefully take too long, he says. Right, one bale created already, because we had some left over in there. Now I'm hoping that this swath isn't going to be too big that it makes picking up difficult. Probably me just getting the wrong angle, because it looks like it's doing quite well so far. So bales are coming through the funnel, so we'll get all of this covered off. Wow, they're coming through quite fast. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of bales. So yep, I'll see you when we're all baled up. And out they plop. There we go. We have finished baling up all of the hay from this field. Now admittedly I didn't do the tidiest job, because it's quite hard to negotiate with this baler going around this field. And yeah, once you get started, you start depositing bales when you haven't got a trailer, and then you have to avoid them as well. So I was trying to tip the bales to the outer edge of the field and work it around that way. But it doesn't always go to plan. But yeah, not too bad a job. But we've got a massive scatter of hay bales to come and collect now. So that's what we're going to do. And I think for this job, I'm potentially go and get a vehicle that's going to help us. and it's also going to be a nice addition to the homestead. So yeah, we'll get the baler parked up and head back over to the distribution centre, hopefully to get our new purchase. Right, that's the farm all parked up, and at some stage we might need to think about getting a bigger baler, one that's going to do larger bales, square bales, rather than the conventional mini bales. Yep, let's get over to the distribution centre and see this new vehicle. We made it. So this is the vehicle I was talking about, the Lizard Apache Fleetside 1958. It's 160 horsepower and can do 62 mile an hour. It's pretty rapid. And it's going to cost us 37,200, and it's got these support boards that go around the pickup section. So I'm thinking that we can probably stash our bales in there, and it's got a hitch on the back, so hopefully we should be able to pull the other bale trailer. Although that is a ball hitch, and I think the other one is a hook hitch. Now we've got a trusty number plate, Frontier 1, because this is our first actual vehicle that we can drive around in, other than the Farmall and the International. There we go, a bit of money outlaid, but it's nice to have a different kind of vehicle on the homestead. Looks pretty nice, quite tall, but quite thin still, so it should be good for duck and weaving through the forest. And got quite a sizable pickup section in the back, and we can ratchet strap stuff down, so that's pretty good. Let's hop in and fire it up. Oh yes, very nice. A nice classic look on the inside, the very old American style classic pickup wagon. So let's get this back, and we can see about loading some bales in there. I am liking this. I think it's going to fit in absolutely perfectly. Right, so I'm going to see if I can hitch up to the trailer that's in here. I've got a feeling that we're not going to be able to, but you never know. Aha, looks like we can. That is a stroke of luck. So yeah, it looks like the bale trailer is actually quite a bit bigger than this, but yeah, never mind. That's not going to be too much of a problem. We will stash some bales in the back of the pickup as well. I think I'm going to drop the root crops out of the way for now, so we can make space to place a shed. Just drop that there for now. I'll also move the water tank out of the way. And what I've done is placed a small shed behind our bigger log shed, and that's going to be our hay and also potentially our open garden crops storage. So yeah, we can put our pig food ingredients and our hay bales there. Let's just get this trailer emptied so we can then use it for hay collecting. And get these boxes unloaded and stashed in here. There we go, 3 boxes stacked up. So let's head on into the field and get some bales stacked. I'm going to try and fill the pickup first, and then yeah, if I need to, I will also load some into the bale trailer. I imagine we will, because look at the quantity we have. I'll probably start somewhere where we've got a good stash. I'll detach the trailer, and then we should be able to hopefully open the back of the pickup. There we go. Superb. So let's hop out and get our first bales in there. There we go. 1 in, many more to go. So I'm going to get busy. Right, that is the neatest job I've been able to do for now. And we've loaded 6,000 litres. And it's a little bit tricky to load them in here because these bales are a little bit fiddly. But we got some in there, and we are probably going to do multiple loads for the rest of the afternoon. I'll get this first batch into the shed so we can see it all nicely stored up in there. There we go, so we can park up and latch off. Oh, there we go, and got a bale pop out already. This is what I meant by they're a little bit fiddly. So we'll get our first one stacked in over here. Superb. And press it into the corner. And then I'll get the other ones unloaded. Right, there are the beginnings of the hay shed. And I've tried to stack them as neatly as possible. It's going to be a long job. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the rest of the bales between now and next time. And the last job we are going to do is probably give the cows some TMR. So I'll get the wagon back over to the field where we've got all the bales. And I can get busy doing that. It's going to take me a long time. There we go. Park up there, switch off. So only a fraction cleared. My oh my, it's going to take me a long time to clear all that. But let's get the TMR wagon and we can give our cows some nice mixed ration. Go. Just a small quantity in there, and that's going to top up what they've ate in terms of hay. And yes, the idea is to hopefully replace the full volume of feed with TMR than just hay that's in there. Probably should have thought of that before I stuck a load of hay in there, but not to worry. Right, let's get this feeding wagon parked back up, and then I think I'm going to go see if Tim is about to help me with all of the bales. That will make my life a lot easier. Here is the Tim shack, and oh look, he's got himself a car. Doesn't look too new, so I reckon he probably had this before, although it's in good condition. I think it's a larder. Let's have a little look. Yeah, looks to be. Well, I didn't know he had a car, but there you go. He's parked it next to his... Oh, let's give him a knock and see if he's in. Fantastic. So Tim's going to give me a hand getting all those bales collected up. And then whilst we're over here, it's a good opportunity to mention a little winter project that we're going to do, because in the winter we don't really have too much farming to do. It's just going to be keeping the animals happy. So I think we're going to do some more logging and forestry. And I'm thinking of creating a track that's going to run from the homestead through to the animal dealer. A faster route, if you will. So if we consult the map, we can see that currently to get to the animal dealer over here in the bottom left-hand corner, or the southwest, we have to go through the homestead, through our little track that runs over to the distribution centre, down and past the fuel station, round Tim's old sawmill, and then all the way down the track here to the animal dealer. Whereas I think we could probably make a little cross-country route through the forest. So I'm going to get some equipment that's going to help me with that project. And really, I think that's going to carve a bit more of a path for us to then base some of the future fields and build of the homestead in the future. So I want to make use of some of the flat ground between the mounds, and then we might look to put some buildings or some watchtowers on the actual mounds themselves. And it looks like there's some stone around here, so we'll have to see what we find as we trek through the forest. Yep, that is my idea for a little winter project. Let me know what you think. Back to the bale mess, and I might as well pick one up on my way back to the truck. So I'm going to get busy collecting all these up with Tim, and hopefully the next time you see and hear from me, it will be that we've got all the bales squared away in the shed. But yeah, that is it for today. Hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is I hope to see you again next time on the Frontier Farmer, and until then, I'll catch you later. Cheers all, and bye bye.